Throughout the course of my YouTube channel, I have rarely ever sought out anybody to send me anything to try out. But on occasion, I do have people that decide to try to send me something. So the guys over at Hammer Forge Grips contacted me through email and offered to send me some of their grips. They had watched my video on trying to find the best grip for a J-frame, and they were confident enough in their products that they figured that if they sent me one that I would like it. Now, they did not ask for a review on these products, but to be perfectly honest, I liked them so much that I figured it was worth doing a review on. Now, the grips that they sent me are kind of the same exact shape and size as the Craig Spiegel boot grips or the Uncle Mike's boot grips that I typically carry on my J-frames that I carry a lot. Normally, I have the Uncle Mike's rubber boot grips on there, and this is the same exact profile. But these are extremely lightweight, extremely textured, but they're not like over-aggressive stippling to the point where they hurt your hands. They almost feel like they have a spray-on truck bed liner coating or something. And you can see here again that the shape is pretty much exactly the same as the Craig Spiegel boot grips that I typically carry on my J-frames. Now, one of the biggest challenges that I've seen from aftermarket grips on handguns is typically the fitment. A lot of times you can make them fit very easily, but they'll be kind of loose on the frame, or sometimes they're too tight to put on the frame. And that's kind of what I was looking for with these grips, was to see how well they actually snapped onto the retaining pins on the frame, how tight the gap between the two sides of the grip are on the frame, and how well they stay on the gun with the screw that's provided. So those are really the key things to look at when you're buying aftermarket grips. Now, I will say I was extremely pleasantly surprised when I snapped these on. The retaining pin, the hole for the retaining pin was extremely snug, but it fit perfectly on there. It wasn't like it had any loose wiggle room. It wasn't walking around on the gun, and it also wasn't so tight that you couldn't easily snap them on. So you can see here, I haven't even put the screw in yet, and already the gap on the back of this frame and on the bottom of the butt of the gun is plenty tight. And this is what you want to see when you see an aftermarket set of grips, something that, even without the retaining screw, actually fits pretty well on the frame. And this came with a brass retaining screw. Honestly, I probably would have preferred black, but now that I see the brass screw on there, it actually looks pretty classy. And after I snugged everything down on the gun, all of the gaps between the frame and the grips are really tight, really snug, and this thing just feels really, really good in the hand. It's probably a smidgen thinner than the actual Uncle Mike's Craig Spiegel design grips, which isn't a bad thing when you're using this for concealed carry. It still has plenty of room on the front of the nostril there for your fingers to go in, so you wouldn't need like a Tyler T grip or something. Obviously on this, you couldn't use one anyway, but it replaces that need for that because it's a nice tight fit, but it has the extra finger grooves on the front. So again, Hammer Forge did not pay me to say anything about these. They didn't even ask for a review, but I thought they were good enough that they deserved a review. So thanks again to the guys at Hammer Forge for sending me these grips. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. God bless America. Support your two-way rights. Get out there and shoot. And you remember, if someone asks you to give up some of your freedom for the greater good, remind them that freedom is always the greater good.